Hey guys, the Flying Scotsman here. Welcome to this video. Now, in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Flying Scotsmachine because I've actually refreshed it. I forgot to video it, but I actually did do a refresh of the build. So now it's in the case that my server was in. My servers went back into the silver case. And there's a reason for that, the reason being black drives are easier to find than silver ones. So I quite fancied just kind of going all black, if I'm honest. However, I've also made a few more changes. I've actually changed out the motherboard for a Jetway one with the VIA 694T chipset. Those of you who watch Jack Stavros' videos, you'll actually probably be familiar with that chipset because he is currently in the middle of a series where he's actually building a system using an MSI board with the VIA 694T chipset on it. But the reason I changed out the board is because I actually found it at Aberdeen Action on Disability amongst, some of the things that I was given computer-wise. So what I did was I brought that home. I knew I had a 1.2 gigahertz Tualatin processor, so I looked that out. Took me a few days to find it, but I did. And I installed, I basically rebuilt the machine around that board and processor. I've also upgraded it to 512 megs of RAM on a single stick, believe it or not. The 694T chipset supports, I think, a gig and a half of memory, whereas the Intel 815 chipset on the ASUS C-USL2 board would only support 512. That really doesn't bother me because I wouldn't want to go above 512 because you need to basically start touching Windows 98 inappropriately for it to work with above 512 megs of RAM. You can do it, but what's the point? Seriously, it's Windows 98. It's never going to need that much. I mean, one might argue that 512 megs is a bit too much anyway for Windows 98. But hey, there is one slight problem, however, with this case. Believe it or not, it only has 3 external 5 1/4 inch drive bays. The one at the bottom, as you can probably see, isn't actually a 5 1/4 inch drive bay. And only one of the USB ports works because of the way this case is kind of set up and the way that that my board is set up. Doesn't have the standard USB front header pin layout. It was fine in the silver case because all the pins were separated, but in this case it has a standard header, so yeah. And I'm not about to go splitting that, but I did manage to get one of the ports going. Also, you'll notice that the zip drive, it's the wrong colour, if I'm going to be completely honest. Bit of a shame, but that's not too much of an issue, as you are going to see. There's also only the one optical drive in here. Did manage to get a black floppy drive though, which was good. Managed to get a silver floppy drive for this system. But yeah, it was in the cupboard, if I'm honest. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're actually going to upgrade some of the parts in this machine. Now, one thing that I must say, when I was rebuilding the machine, my GeForce 3 Ti200 let go. So now it's an GeForce 3 Ti200, and I've had to put in its place a GeForce 4 MX440 AGP8 speed. which isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad card, but I think the Ti200 is better, even though that's a GeForce 3. GeForce 4MX is essentially a GeForce 2. So let's have a look at what we have to upgrade the machine. When I get onto it, I will of course be using the tripod. So we have an external Zip 250 drive, and this is the bus powered one. I wish the one in my living room was as well. I managed to win this for about, I think, 13 quid. I was in a bit of a bidding war with someone else, but I managed to win out in the end, and I'm glad I did. Hopefully that'll work. I plan to take the white zip drive out of that case and replace it with the second optical drive, which is a DVD-ROM reader. We also have PCI to USB card, so that I've got some more USB ports. I believe that this is just a standard USB, oh dear. USB 2. That's going to be quite entertaining. I've never had much luck with Windows 98 and USB 2, if I'm going to be completely honest. But I do have updates for Windows 98, so I might be able to make it work. I was hoping that this would be a USB 1.1 card, but yeah, it didn't actually say on the box, actually, because all I really got to see was the front of the box. And it doesn't actually say anywhere that it's USB 2.0. Yeah. Not the happiest about that, but yeah. It has an internal USB port as well, which I might use to see if I can get the other USB port to go. And then, last but not least, by any means, we have this. A replacement nVidia GeForce 3Ti200. This is a Hercules card, so it's only going to be in monochrome, obviously. No, I'm kidding on. So, unlike my other card, which was passively cooled, this one has a fanny on it. There you see, it's got a wee fanny. And it's got heat spreaders over the memory chips, which my Medion GeForce 3 Ti200 didn't have. Hopefully it will work, and hopefully this card works and will continue to do so for a good while. At least I hope is the case. So there we have it. All these parts to the machine. And we're back, in the words of Brandon Bishop. So, what I'm going to do here is going to sit down on the floor like some disenfranchised primary school kid. Try and put the tripod so I can actually work on this machine and still film it. Okay, sorry, this is not the best viewing angle, but got the right side off. We need to take that side off as well as the left side. Oh, you can definitely tell it's getting cooler now. You can smell the crispness of the air. In a way, it's kind of nice. Anyway, as I was saying, what I'm going to do here is I've got the zip drive. Now, this case has a few twisty things. I know my descriptions, aren't they just fantastic? Basically what these do is they're in place of screws. So these actually keep the drives locked into the case. So I've taken that one out, and now I need to open the other side of the case. And there we go. We'll take this side off now. And what we're going to do is we're going to take off this one as well. So the next step will be to disconnect the zip drive. Right, there we go. We've disconnected that. And there it is in its wee holder. So there you go. That's one zip drive uninstalled. And now let's get its replacement here. Standard DVD-ROM. Wee bit rusty round the back. I think it probably came out of the Advent, but I do believe it works. So yeah, what we're going to do with that is we'll install it. And we'll actually install it into the system. Sorry, I know you guys can't actually see what I'm doing here. There we go, I think. Yeah. Just need to line the holes up. There we go. I think that's in. And the right side, I think that's it. So there we are. Don't know how well you can see that, but I think this looks better now. Dual optical drives. Nice. Now what we're going to do is start the rest of the upgrades, and for these we will actually need some tools, and yeah, there's going to be a bit of a squeeze down here, but should be able to sort it. There we go. Now, before we do anything with the graphics card, I think it would be best if I unplugged the old one. Otherwise, it might prove difficult to remove completely from the case. So what we're going to do here is, yeah, just do that. It's VGA cable disconnected. And, oh, actually, no, I don't need tools. I know a lot of people don't like these, but this case has them anyway. And in fact, I know people don't like this case. But, you know, I wanted to have things matching. And, you know, this was a black full ATX case that I had. So, you know, I'm using it. There we go. So just release the catch on the AGP slot. Remember to do that. And then out comes this very tiny low profile card. Now I am going to grab the new one. And now I think this is new old stock. This fan looks as though it has never been used. Look at that. Does it spin? Certainly wants to spin freely. Plugged in. It's a good sign. So yeah, it looks quite good. And this is what Hercules ended up doing, by the way, as well. They ended up making cards with other chipsets on them. But the original Hercules standard was absolutely fantastic, in my opinion. You know, for monochrome displays. Offered you a nice clear image, and you could use graphics. I do believe, actually, though, that the original Hercules graphics adapter was actually designed so that Asian character sets could be used on the original PC. Because, of course, the Asian character sets will have not been in the original ASCII character set. Well, certainly not in the 1980s. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. But, yeah. So that's how Hercules came about. And obviously the Western world realised that they could use Hercules for gaming. And I'll tell you where that does work. On monochrome gas plasma laptops. Like my Toshiba. Okay, so this was bent out a wee bit. But what I did was I straightened it out on the power supply, as one might legs of an integrated circuit. I just want to drop this card in. Yep, there we go. Push it in until clicked, and then hopefully I can put the bracket retainer down. Good. That's done. And now what I want to do, last but not least, is install the USB card. So I've taken out one of the blanking plates, and I have found drivers. Actually, this uses a VIA chipset, but I'll tell you which one. It's the VT something or other. VT6212L. Anyway, so that is the system all set up now. We've got a new graphics adapter, a USB card, and a DVD-ROM drive. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to plug in the VGA cable, and then I will power this thing on, see if it works, and then I will button it all back up and plug the zip drive in. Now, before we do any of that, we need to power up. There we go. First of all, do I get video? Do I get video? Forget that I'm on channel 5 here. Well, it certainly looks like I get video. That's a good start. System's frozen. Oh well. Let's try that again. Alright, this video card doesn't appear to have a BIOS. Oh. So the memory seems to be acting up. Well, that's not good. Well, I think I'm going to go off and troubleshoot this, and I'll be back. Right, this all seems to be working now. What I am going to do is I'm going to switch the power to this machine off for a minute or two, and then we'll switch it back on and see what happens. What I did do was uninstall and reinstall the USB card. I uninstalled it, powered it up, everything seemed to be just fine. So then I reinstalled it, powered it up, and again everything seemed to be just fine. As you saw, I was in the BIOS, I was able to actually use the BIOS, like go back and forward, well, go use the arrow keys to, you know, scroll to move around the different features. So let's try this now, shall we? Channel 4. I also have as well, I got it from South Korea, a wee audio switcher. LML3 has one very similar. Basically, instead of the multi-way audio plug that I used to have, I used to use one of these. Now, as with a lot of these things, you start splitting the output. Is going to degrade your sound, and I always found that it did if I had two machines powered on at the same time. Not normally a problem, but sometimes could be. Whereas this is a much more elegant solution because you can switch to whatever channel you're needing. There's 8 inputs on this. What I've tried to do is have them use the same channels as the KVM. So the Flying Scotsmachine is channel 4, and the audio should also be channel 4. So let's see if it works. And there's a good chance the speaker cable has came unplugged, or not. And I forgot to plug in the network switch. That was a bit stupid of me and ridiculous. Okay, so now it's found some hardware. Via Tech3038. Well, that's what it's detected it as. That's absolutely fine. I think what I'm going to do is actually I will install the drivers, and hopefully now it should, yep, it's done it. It's detected the nVidia GeForce 3 Ti200. Excellent. USB root hub. Another USB root hub. USB 2.0 root hub. Do I wish to restart? Yes, I do. And then hopefully we will have, not only will we have full colour, but we'll also have some network connectivity as well. That should be nice. And as well, I do obviously want to check out the floppy drive, see whether that still works, because I did try unplugging and plugging that back in, because it was telling me floppy disks fail. Oh. So you remember me telling you all about how I found USB 2 cards to be a wee bit dodgy with Windows 98? This is the exact thing I'm talking about. Nope, this is still moving. Oh, now it's... Now it's just decided to reboot for no good reason at all. It's just rebooting there. Oh, but the floppy drive works. So that's good. Okay, so there's no life left on the camera, so I will try and be brief. However, what I can tell you is I did get the problem sorted. Turns out Windows had not removed the nVidia GeForce MX440 graphics card from the raster of devices that were set up in Device Manager. So it was obviously looking for a GeForce MX440 with this monitor connected that wasn't there. So I went into safe mode. You know, I thought at first it was a USB 2 card, so obviously I blamed it. Sorry, USB 2 card. Got those drivers installed, by the way, but I removed the MX440 drivers from Windows 98. I removed the MX440 instance from the Device Manager, started back up, and I got my desktop in full colour. Now though, it's time to install the zip drive. You might think that I'd forgotten about this, but nope. It is here, and I have a cable plugged into the USB 2 port, USB 2 card now. So what we're going to do is connect it up. Obviously. Okay, so the zip drive has been detected. So there you go. I mean, although it didn't actually make the usual zip seeking sound, so let's actually see if it's working. I hopefully have a zip disk in here. I hope I do anyway. First of all, there we go. It's there. The lack of sound was quite worrying though, I will say that. The speaker cables probably came unplugged. I will sort that out in due course, but for now I have a more pressing concern called a zip disk. Right, BRB. I've found one. And you might be wondering why I've went from an internal to an external drive. Well, it was easier for me to get a blue external than it was to get a black internal. So what I'm going to do now is just put the zip disk in the drive. Oh. And there we go. We have the and there we go. We have a working zip drive. So what I'm going to do now is just eject that, and there you have it. And I'm wondering if there's anything that I can try. I guess I could take you for a wee spin in Need for Speed 3. Before I do though, I would just like to show you what's in this machine. Flying Scotsman, blah, 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 blah. I forget, for some reason on this CPU it doesn't actually report it to Windows 98, but apparently the 1.4 GHz version does report itself as a Pentium 3 to Windows 98. Okay, yep, 22nd of September 2017 rather. blah blah blah, Flying Scots PC, Windows 98, Intel Pentium III family, 1266 MHz, 512 megs of RAM, and 107 used, 14 page file, 107 meg, yeah, page file, 107. We don't really need to know about that, do we? Nobody does. All right, let's see if this will work. Again, I'm sorry about the lack of sound. Well, that certainly seems to be quite encouraging. Like I said, I'm not actually going to race. I'm not going to go too much into this. Obviously. Oh yeah, that's right. I can't have a Ferrari in this mode for whatever reason. Don't know why. So I'm using this Optical design Shigeru. I thought he was the Mario guy. I don't know if this is so as you can see, quite nice smooth graphics. See if I can overtake this vet. No, I can't. I took that corner a bit too wide. Ooh, kissing the apex there. Beautifully smooth. The graphics, obviously, not my driving style. You're a schmelly Corvette. Why are you in front of me? Why is that car you don't just stop in the middle of the road. That Corvette crashed into me. I don't care. Anyway, so it looks like I'm away to get caught by the police, so I think it's a good time to end here before my camera battery runs down. So with that in mind, whoops. Yeah, no, I wasn't supposed to be on my roof. Anyway, with that in mind, I'd like to thank you all for watching this video. My Windows install was acting a bit odd earlier, but it was just usual Windows 98 stuff. Hopefully, well, I overtook. Oh shit! I overtook that bit. Hopefully, though, it should, you know, kind of all settle down, settle in, and start working absolutely fine. Road Geek has assured me that he has had USB 2 working in Windows 98. But if that, you know, if it turns out he was Billy bullshitting me, and that this USB 2 card makes this machine go mang, oh yeah, by the way, I have tested this. This is, I wasn't too sure about this board at first, but I have tested it with Prime 95. I ran it for about 7 hours. And the CPU didn't even break a sweat. So I know that at least the temperature sensor's broken. Roadblock? That really is a dirty, dirty way of going about things. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on! Yeah! Oh no. Oh well. Ticketed. Got pulled over. Well, there's a lesson for us all. But this does seem to actually work, and the GeForce 3 Ti works beautifully. I have missed having one of these. I really have actually. I've missed having a Ti200. I like it. It's part of what gives the Flying Scotsmachine its character. It has to have a TI, a GeForce 3 Ti rather, you know. But anyway, thanks again for watching this video, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it and would like to see more, please consider subscribing to the Flying Scotsman YouTube channel. If you're looking for more things The Flying Scotsman, you can also follow the Flying Scotsman YouTube channel Facebook page and follow me on Twitter. To see my latest video, click on the link within the browser window. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and please do feel free to join me for my next video. Cheery bye.